to another episode of Blacktop. I'm here. It's your boy LJ.
Stop. Worlds. Ade.
So we have to have a tough conversation. Honestly, Doc Rivers has to go. It makes no sense why the Clippers lost to the Nuggets. No sense at all. First of all, it's not Kawhi's fault, so everybody's blaming Kawhi. So throw that out the window. He's still the greatest player ever. This was supposed to be an easy conference title. Honestly, it was supposed to go against the Lakers, beat the Lakers. Paul George might need to get traded after this one. Doc Rivers has to go after this one. Unacceptable for you to lose Game 7 the way you lost at a blowout at that. Embarrassing. It astonishes me that, Doc would even allow this. I wanted to stop the game by the third quarter and just tell everybody to go home. We need to rebuild. We need to start over because it wasn't Kawhi's fault. For Doc Rivers embarrassed Kawhi Leonard's reputation by doing what he did, by coaching that game the way he coached it. And, it was just horrible coaching. Could we say that it was horrible, scoring as well from Kawhi and Paul George? I think both of them combined had, 24 points, I think it was in Game 7? So that was disastrous. But overall, it was bad coaching, horrible coaching. And there's no reason in the world Denver should have came back against Kawhi and the Clippers. With that being said, we don't blame Leonard. We don't blame the guard Kawhi Leonard at all. It never could be Kawhi Leonard's fault. It could never be. Somebody with 3 rings, somebody that comes from the Spurs, somebody that got a ring under Toronto. It's impossible to blame somebody at that caliber. Honestly, the coaching team needs to step up. The GM needs to get rid of Doc Rivers. We spoke about this in a few episodes, right? Didn't we say that if he can't win a chip with Kawhi, the Doc needs to go? That's one. I'm going to just quote an introduction, an interlude from Chief Keef. A lot of you commentators out there talking junk about Kawhi Leonard, talking about he ain't the greatest player ever. He's chasing LeBron. Y'all need to shut the fuck up. Y'all don't be with him. Y'all know that boy got 3 fucking rings. You understand? Don't play around with Kawhi Leonard's name like this. That's a Doc Rivers problem. That's all I have to say about that. Don't talk to me about no Kawhi Leonard.
Let me go first.
All right?
I got so much to say. Let me get my skip with this on. This is interesting. You said it wasn't Kawhi Leonard's fault, right?
It wasn't.
It was all Doc
Never
Rivers.
could be. Never could be.
So was Doc
Bad
Rivers
coaching.
So was Doc Rivers playing in the game? Did Doc Rivers shoot 6 of 22 from the field? Did Doc Rivers not score a point in the fourth quarter? That was Doc Rivers? Because Kawhi Leonard. In Game 7, remember, 6 of 22, 14 points, no points in the fourth quarter. This is supposed to be the best player. He said this is the best player in the world. You mean to tell me you are a superstar in this league? You are a 2-time Finals MVP, a 2-time NBA champion. You got another superstar on your roster. You got a Hall of Fame head coach that has won a championship. You got probably one of the best assistant coaching staffs in the entire NBA. Tyronn Lue has got a ring. Sam Cassell is going to be hired as a head coach one day in this league. And you blow 3 consecutive games to the Denver Nuggets. You were up 3-1, mind you. The Clippers had double-digit leads in 3 consecutive games, and they blew every single one of them. They blew every single one of them. Kawhi Leonard.
You can't blame Kawhi. How can you blame Kawhi? His numbers in the playoffs.
I didn't interrupt you. I didn't say a word when you talk.
His numbers in the playoffs is better than his per game season numbers.
I like he trying to change the narrative.
I just want to make that with a horrible Game 7.
I like how you trying to change the narrative.
I'm just saying.
Because everybody else
stats was below their season stats besides Kawhi Leonard.
That's all I have. Well, 6 to 22. That's all he shoots 50% from the field. That's his regular stat.
It's only so much a player can do night in and night out at that caliber.
But you said he's the best player.
He is
if
great.
you're the best player, you got to uplift your team. Am I right?
Let's do it to the person they say that they're comparing him to, LeBron. We seen it last year. LeBron couldn't do it night in and night out by himself. But let's be. He's
trying to change the narrative. It's okay.
Real quick.
No. You're trying to change the narrative, but I won't let you. I won't let you change the narrative.
Y'all love to do this when it comes to LeBron.
You love to
compare him, but let's not worry about the bad season he had last year, right? Even though he didn't. Even though he
trying to change the narrative.
Even though his numbers and he needed help, we don't say that about LeBron.
But you know what the funny thing is? He talked about Kawhi had a good season. Kawhi Leonard's best season, LeBron James' average season is better than Kawhi Leonard's best season.
Now we just
yes. No, let's talk about.
Now you spoken. You spoken on drinking on the same thing Shannon Sharp drinking on.
Was Kawhi Leonard MVP conversation this year? No. Okay, let me go back. So Kawhi Leonard turned to Choke Leonard. That's one. I'm gonna go back to your point. Doc Rivers, he's an overrated coach. You can't tell me you are the only coach in NBA history to bowl not one, not two, but 3 different 3-1 leads. And you did it twice with the Clippers.
So let me ask you a question. Is that not hard? Did he not do horrible coaching in this series? Because if you tell me he did great coaching, then I'll be like, did I
not just say that Doc Rivers is an overrated coach?
No, I'm just asking you a question.
You just answered my question.
So you agree with me?
Yes, he's a bad coach.
He has to go. I don't
he's
care.
Overrated.
First of all, Kawhi, the one thing about Kawhi that is different from LeBron is Kawhi is not, he's not going to go and start coaching the team like LeBron did. LeBron damn near dismissed the whole coaching staff and just start telling people what to do.
If you are a best player, you have to be a leader as well.
But no, you also have to understand one thing. Everything is not, he's a player. There's a key, player. LeBron is the type that likes to be in the front street doing coach, like guiding his teammates and doing that. That's not Kawhi. We see that. He don't even like answering questions in the public, Kawhi. So why would he be that outspoken person in the locker room? Why would he just likes to play basketball? That's what makes Kawhi Leonard who he is. He's not a LeBron James in the sense of how LeBron will start orchestrating his team. So when you have a bad coach like Doc Rivers, right, and you have a great player like Kawhi Leonard, it always will let anybody tell you this. Bad coaching triumphs a good player any day of the week.
No, was the coach
because you cannot win everything by yourself.
Was the coach
can't?
Did the coach shot 6 of 22 from the field? Yes or no? I just need a yes or no answer. Did the coach shot 6 of 22 from the field?
He should have. It should have been him, and those stats should go on.
No, but let me tell you, the more as we get to this, Doc Rivers definitely. I've been telling people for years, Doc Rivers overrated.
He's overrated.
Just like you said, he's a Hall of Fame coach. Well, we'll put you in the Hall of Fame, winning 1 ring. Outside of that 1 ring, which he had a stack.
He had a stack
that's opposed to 1.
Yeah.
And that team
they underachieved too, yeah.
All year, they only been to the finals twice, won once. I understand it's getting old. So like I said, Doc Rivers is overrated. And I'm gonna disagree with you because you said he's quiet and stuff. Your best player got to be a leader, unless you have a Popovich. That's why I say Doc Rivers overrated. Because Tim Duncan was like Kawhi Leonard, but you had a real Hall of Fame coach and Greg Popovich. Yeah. So you can't have it both. Your leader can't be quiet, your best player, and your coach can't be that. It had to be one or the other. Like your coach had to be that big figure like Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm. Nick Saban.
Like that, yeah. Or your player had to be that big, like LeBron can go with a coach that's not like that.
So give him Doc Rivers.
Can't do that.
Give him Doc Rivers. We don't want him.
LeBron can deal with a Doc Rivers because LeBron is the leader. Doc Rivers not the leader everybody thinks. Doc Rivers' strength at coaching is motivating. He could motivate X and O. He's not a good X and O coach. And like I said, he did nothing. And then just like I said, Eva, you said they got the best coaching staff. I disagree because people say that. And I think sometimes assistant coaches get overrated. Like why? I understand it's more, this become an issue more of being black. They say, oh, Sam Cassell. What made him a good, how you know he a good assistant coach? See, everybody pumping Cassell name. I understand why people do it because, it's a black thing. People want, to get the more black coach. And he's been assistant coach for years, but what resume, how do you know he's a good coach?
Let me step in right there. He's helped develop many young players. I'll give you Ty Gilgeous-Alexander, for example. Mm-hmm. He worked with him tremendously, and even Ty will say it himself. Sam Cassell helped him be the player who he is now. So so Sam Cassell, he does great with developing guards. He's been coaching around for years, and you just seen the work. You've seen the latest work he's done with Ty Gilgeous-Alexander. So that's where I got to disagree. Sam Cassell deserves credit because he's helped develop some of these guards that you see today balling out. So
outside of Shea Gilgeous, who else? I'm saying you could be right, but I'm saying I didn't actually see what, because I'm hearing so much his name. This thing going.
I don't think the Clippers have a coaching squad that I don't give none of these guys the credit right now. I think first of all, let's just go back to the head coach. let's just go back to Doc. For a second.
Okay, we'll stick with Doc.
It's a shame. How do you, first of all, after your first loss, when you're up with that type of lead, you have to make adjustments. No adjustments were made. Second time, I'm waiting for the adjustments. No adjustments were made. Now we in game 7. I'm like, there's gonna be some adjustments. No way that they don't make the right adjustments. No adjustments made. Then they get blown out. Doc needs to go. This is why I say it's the coaching fault, not the player. I can understand 1 or 2 games on the player. 3 games on a player? At some point, if I'm the player, Doc, you play basketball. If you're the player, at some point, you're going to be like, yo, this is not happening, coach. What you call is not catching, blah, blah. What you call is not backing. What you call is missing shot. And when does the coach come in and say, okay, well, we got to make these adjustments?
See, I've seen a lot of worse coaches than Doc Rivers, so I don't want to bash him that much. And in my opinion, I do still think he's a Hall of Fame head coach. But in recent years, he's just been too outdated. He's just too old to coach. His coaching style is just too out of date. And he doesn't adjust. And he just needs to retire. It's ridiculous. Why in the world are you double teaming Jokic for? He's the best passing center in the league, and you double teaming him. That to me, that was one of the dumbest coaching things you could do. And again, I don't want to discredit him because I think he's a Hall of Fame head coach. I just think he's just outdated. His time is done. Like, it's not the Celtics no more. It's not no old school basketball. Like, it's a new league now.
Let me ask you,
do they have a bed on the side of the court? They have a bed somewhere on the side of the court? Because he's sleeping. Your boy Doc Rivers be sleeping. It's the 4th quarter. He still don't make adjustments.
And yes, he did fumble the bag when he had DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, and Blake Griffin. He messed up with that too. But I still think.
Let me ask you this: what makes him a Hall of Fame coach?
I just feel like the leadership he's done over. Obviously not recently. Not recently.
No, what makes I'm saying? But you feel what makes him?
They giving out Hall of Fames for doing bad stuff. He did something great. He was the first coach, like World said, to let a team come back 3 consecutive times in the series and beat them. So he should be in the Hall of Fame for the worst coach ever.
But he is one of the most winningest coaches in NBA history.
He has had a lot of talent on his roster, though.
But a lot of coaches have had a lot of talent.
You say the most winning? What is the top? What? I don't know if Doc top 10.
Doc absolutely not
Doc
top 10.
Doc winning percentage is only
10.
like 54, 55%. That's not that good.
Okay, but compare him to other coaches. Like, this has been plenty of other
coaches. Better coach. I always said that.
I'll agree with you on that.
Like
okay,
Doc,
I'll give you that.
But people don't give him that much credit. You gotta say exposure.
Exposure, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to be with you for that.
People say they want, but he did what he had to do with the talent, Steve Kerr.
I won't say not yet. I can't say that.
I even put Nick Nurse too.
Oh yeah,
Nick Nurse. I like Nick Nurse.
I know, yeah.
Like I go by coaches, they coach decision and also the talent they have and what you did with it.
But I feel like we got to come at these other coaches like throughout NBA. So like Vinny Del Negro, he's had a bunch of talent. He's choked. Mike D'Antoni. I mean, we bash him too, but Mike D'Antoni. Let's see who else.
I think D'Antoni do a better job than Doc Rivers.
But I think the problem is when does Doc Rivers choke? And those coaches are not choking at the same, like Doc. You're about to go to conference finals and you choke, and then you do it with the top players in the league.
But I'll say this though, you can't just blame Doc Rivers because they traded 5 first-round picks for a guy who is known to choke in the playoffs. Like we call him Pandemic P, like in the play, like so. Paul George always chokes in the playoffs. He's just like Harden. They always choke in the playoffs.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me go back to that. But doesn't that go back to Kawhi Leonard's leadership? Because he wanted Paul George. He chose to go to play with the Clippers. And he said, I will come with you if you get Paul George. And remember, like you said, the first round pick. The Clippers don't even have a first round pick until 2027. So it's some 8th or 10th grader right now that's still in high school. He's like, hey, I might go to play for the Clippers in 7 years from now. So that's the Clippers' fault. That's Kawhi Leonard's fault, and that's management's fault. So that goes back to my saying Kawhi is not a leader.
I don't think
because he pretty much handpicked the Ross. He said, "Give me Paul George, and I'm coming." Did he not say that?
I don't think Paul George was a bad pick for Kawhi. Not at all. He's a good supporting player. The issue is this. Now, let's just be honest with you. Game 7 was disastrous, right? So we know that it was both. It was coaching and it was bad players, bad scoring, everything. My concern is this. When, as a coach, do you make the adjustments? We didn't see it in those last 3 games. It was like Doc was like, no, don't worry. Let's just keep the same play go and we'll figure it out. Like, they didn't make the right adjustments. Like you just said, they were double teaming the wrong players. I just felt like this. Kawhi gets, I personally feel like Kawhi could get burnt out just like any other player in this league. Now, when you have to come back, when a team is coming back and you have to fight for that, he's definitely got his back up against the wall. And then you got Paul that wasn't putting up no points like he should have in that series. But at the end of the day, Kawhi still was fighting. Game 7, on the other hand, I felt like they gave up by then.
And another reason I say the Clippers, to me, I say their coaching staff overrated because not only that, as far as leadership, okay, you have a slew of coaches, right? Look how they handled the whole time they came to the bubble. A lot of their players was unprofessional. Therefore, it starts with Doc Rivers, then it starts with Kawhi, then assistant coaches. Nobody stepped up. They was in and out the bubble. They players laughing and joking. The way they carried themselves throughout the whole
There was
year,
like no
they
accountability.
did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
A lot of trash talking. They act like they won something. They never won anything.
Yeah.
They were sitting there. I remember Lou Williams and Montrez and Pat Bev was in an interview, and he said, "Yo, in our parade, when if we win the championship in our parade, we'd probably be the first team in NBA history to get booed in our own parade because it's a Laker town." Like this, the chirping, even when they got Paul George, they like, don't talk to us. The prices went up. And a lot of players behind the scenes, that's why they considered the most hated team because they were doing a lot of talking and they never won anything. And like I said, what made Doc Rivers overrated and it killed me because, and I was breaking this down early when it was like the Lakers before the season started, the Lakers and Clippers. There's like, we don't need to talk about coach. We already know Doc is way more superior coach than Frank Vogel. And I was kind of disagreeing because Frank Vogel was going 7 back-to-back in Eastern Conference Final with a young Paul George as his best player against LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Yeah.
A prime LeBron, Wade, Bosh would consider that's supposed to have been a team LeBron said 7, 8 titles. And they was going 7. Toe-to-toe with a 22-year-old Paul George.
But you gotta remember Frank Vogel was terrible in Orlando though.
But look what he had. Like I said,
he has some talent though.
What talent he had? Nah, he had no talent.
Vucevic, that's about it. Aaron Gordon ain't developed
Vucevic is
yet.
not a winning player.
He's okay.
He's a numbers
good
player.
talent.
There's a difference.
No,
You got players,
he's a
talent.
very good offensive
No,
center.
I'm not saying, but he's more of a guy to get you know. He's not gonna get grinded. There's some players that you see they impact as far as winning. And some players always gonna get you numbers, they still gonna lose.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, Russell could score 200 points and still lose the
get you
game.
2015, they could lose. Easy. So you got some players get you 2015, they're gonna win.
And I was gonna go back to Kawhi Leonard's leadership. Like I said, you can't be a 2-time Finals MVP and a 2-time champion. You should know the main priority to winning a title is team chemistry. You can't develop team chemistry if you don't play. I understand if you hurt, but he chose not to play like almost half the season.
He wasn't practicing at all.
And he didn't practice a lot.
They say he probably practiced 4 times out the whole year, I heard.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, I
There
don't
was
know
a lot
about
of
that. But
stuff going out.
because
They say he
especially
wasn't
when
practicing.
Paul George and him, they didn't really have been sick. They probably practiced like maybe 10 times out of the whole year.
They said
I don't know.
Kawhi wasn't hardly practicing at all.
So
they said his low man wasn't practicing
yeah,
at all.
the low
They said
management.
that caused problems amongst the team because they was not only
They got
his
star
low
treatment.
management, and then he wasn't even practicing him. Now,
But ain't no problems. I'm the key player. Don't talk to me about no problems when y'all can't help me in game 7.
But-
Ain't nobody. If I'm Kawhi in the locker room, first thing I'm gonna say is, what problems y'all have now?
No.
'Cause I scored the
If you
most
want to be the best
goddamn
player in the league, you got to step up. You got to like, come on. I'm sorry. 0 points in the fourth quarter. No, that's unacceptable. That hurts his legacy so much.
I will
Go to
say,
the line.
yes, it is unacceptable. But as far as the players being able to say anything about the greatest player in the world, they
He
can't
is
talk about that.
No,
He's not the
he's
greatest.
not. He's not after
the
that.
greatest.
Hell no.
But what happened?
Hell no.
I don't want to hear no more. He's the best player in the world. I don't want to hear nobody comparing him to
listen,
LeBron
best is
James.
best.
None of that. Because if LeBron had performed in that game 7, first of all,
They're
if
still talking
LeBron
about
even let a
today.
team come back down 3-1, the media would be killing him right about now. Number 2, if he hadn't scored not even a point in the fourth quarter in the game 7, you're supposed to be the best player on that court. The media would be killing him. Stephen A. Smith. Oh, Skip Bayless would have had a field day.
They're still
Oh,
talking
Skip
about
Bayless would have had it. They would have been talking about that to this day. A whole week later, be like LeBron James, LeChoke, all that. I don't want to
They're
hear
talking
none of
through
that.
the whole play because they do that for LeBron because it's clickbait. for his name. So
Yeah.
they took about LeBron all the way to the finals.
So I don't want to hear none of that.
Offseason.
He not no more in the best player of the world conversation. The championship that he got last year with the Toronto Raptors, it was a fluke. It was a fluke because if even KD or Clay, one of them was healthy, Toronto was not winning that. I can guarantee you.
It looked like Golden State was starting.
Yeah,
we can
start as Golden State.
But you can't just discredit him like that. You can't just do that.
You could do the what ifs. You could also say if the plane hit, if aliens came down and abducted LeBron.
We could also do what if.
But
What if the Clippers had made the Western Conference Finals? Oh wait, they did it.
Okay, but on the flip side though, Miami lost before the Big Three. They lost the finals in their first, even though they went to the finals. But still, they lost in their first year. I think the Clippers, they gotta get rid of Beverly because he got exposed. He's not the person we thought he was. No. He totally got exposed. They need another big man. Maybe if they can get like a Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, I think they can easily make it back to the conference
I
final.
wouldn't do Chris Paul.
But I agree they need a point guard.
Yeah.
That's what they need. But they thought, like you said, Patrick Beverly got exposed and Kawhi's not no LeBron or Paul George not no LeBron who could handle the ball. They need a point guard.
And I don't think Lou Williams is not
that. And see the thing with Doc went wrong in the playoffs, we all know that it's a slow down possession game. You didn't need 4 guys who could score, knowing 2 of them liability. You know you can't put Montrez and Lou Williams in.
Yeah.
So what he should have had, I would have had Landry Shamet, this for the outside shooting to give Kawhi no space. Mm-hmm. I had Zubac in. I'd probably put Jermichael Green.
Yeah, Jermichael Green.
They know they roll. They done. Jermichael Green, he didn't want the ball, and he gonna wait. Him and Shamet could have spread it out and let Kawhi and PG every time. And see, in the NBA, the fourth quarter, you should have enough, especially with 2 players, you should have enough where every trip down, let them make the play. Get the ball and let them drop to the basket, kick out, or go to score. Every trip down. Don't let, what happened was they playing, Lou Williams get it. Trez get it. Kawhi get it. Paul George, you can't do it. Like I said, it got to be a flow of a game, and then it's rhythm. Like you see, like with the Lakers, Kobe's taking 8-9 shots in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
he got to get his reps, but that's how it's supposed to be. Unless you got 2 like him and Shaq, 4 people is too many. It's too many because now you're getting in no flow. Like even one of them, even though Kawhi didn't score, but they would have scored the next trip down. Sometimes you go right back to that play. You're going away. Lou Williams want to shoot. So
yeah, Lou Williams should only be in like the last 5 to 3 minutes of the game. He shouldn't be playing that
because this the playoff regular season, but the playoffs.
But he's their closer though.
Let's be real.
Lou
Williams was still in Magic City. His mom was not there. That man was still looking at some wings and a boatload of cake. So he wasn't there mentally. That man checked out after the first round. He said, "All right, I'm going back to Magic City."
I think there's going to be some trades on the Clippers this year.
I think.
What are they going to trade though?
I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to trade. I don't think Kawhi would care who he trades for. I think he's just going to move people off. I think he's going to force him.
And what? Like,
because Montrez is a free agent.
Right,
so
he's a free agent.
Trade him.
Yeah.
Trade him.
Jermichael Green a free agent. Marcus Morris a free agent. So now
they're gonna let
you got Zubac, you got Lou Williams, you got Paul George.
I think they'll trade Lou. You don't think
but
so?
That's a closer though.
But Lou's if you look at trade, Lou's their only one that they could get some type of value for because he's a 3-time 6.
But then Lou only get $8 million, so the Clippers over the cap.
Yeah.
Who better at $8 million?
Well, even if they go to cap, Steve Ballmer, he's gonna spend money because
nobody don't go like that. Cap space.
I mean, they can go over the luxury tax. They can go over the luxury,
but he's going to pay double.
Yeah, but that's when you sign your own players. You go over the luxury tax. Like right now, they could go over the luxury tax to re-sign Marcus Morris, Montrez, and all. But during the trade got to be within, I think, 10% of the incoming salary. So if Lou Williams
also if the team has cap space, like if you say Lou Williams got $8 million contract, and if the Clippers say they got like $20 million cap space and they want to take,
they don't
on,
have
like,
$20 million.
No, but I'm just using that as an example. Say they want to take on like say Bradley Beal's contract. Say he's making $20 million, they could absorb that even though the numbers are off.
Oh yeah,
they can absorb that, but they don't have. Yeah, so they're gonna have to trade a team with a team that has cap space.
Not having the cap space, so they had to trade Lou Williams. If he make an 8. I think the player had to make 9-7, just a little bit more.
A little bit more, so it's even out.
Unless you add, like, put Lou and like Zubac contract, and then
to make it
Because
even.
you're not gonna get a player better than Lou than the money he makes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? See, that's the tricky part about the trade. They don't have no cap space. Now, Steve Ballmer, what he's saying about the luxury tax, they could resign all of them, but that get expensive. Now, Marcus Morris, Montrez, because Montrez gonna get a big contract.
Yeah, he don't
They
get
say
paid.
Knicks may try to get him.
I hope not. Oh my god.
You a Knicks fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Knicks don't need him though. They don't need
They
him.
don't need nobody.
But they
Nobody should go to the
do
Knicks.
stuff like that, the Knicks. They will get a
Yeah.
player they don't need, and that's where the problem comes in. But because I had the Knicks trying to get Chris Paul.
Oh no.
I think
Used to be
that's
dumb. It makes no sense.
it make no sense. He's an older player.
Yeah, he's making like 32 mil next year. Like, why are you taking that much money? Like, that's
I think the Knicks should just continue to rebuild.
Oh yeah.
Don't try to be fast and try to do that. That's just gonna backfire.
But go back to the
ultimately,
go ahead.
Clippers. Back to the
Yeah.
Clippers.
But yeah, I'm saying go back to
we can,
like
the Knicks. Everything is broken. with
because you
Clippers.
said like they're not gonna trade Kawhi.
They're not.
Maybe you could look to trade PG, but I think he's
Come on, you
I'm
gonna
saying,
look
man.
you gonna look so
Nah,
ridiculous
yeah.
if you just traded
Yeah,
five
they're not
first
gonna
rounders.
trade
And you
PG.
No,
They're
that's what I'm
can't.
saying.
You
Why?
can't.
Because it's like,
They're not.
who else can you get for some type of value on that roster?
They're stuck.
Arrow's gone.
I can
Lou,
see
you can
Lou.
only get something for Lou. That's it.
Lou is gone. I mean,
That's their closer though. That's the person who closes out the game
Kawhi's
for
supposed to
them.
be that coach. He the best player in the world according to that man.
Yes, but he is the best player in the world. So we don't need Lou. Lou could go. First of all, I'm gonna tell you right now. When you in Magic City, instead of coming to this damn bubble, you gotta go. You already gave us the bad vibes. You gotta go. Between Doc bringing all of that Haitian voodoo over with him. All right.
Okay, what are you gonna get for Lou Williams? Though is the
the
question.
thing.
That's the
He just
thing.
gotta go. He bad luck right now.
But what are you gonna get? You gotta get something
Right.
back in
You gotta
return,
get
something
something back.
decent.
That's what he said. He said, "Boo, I'm throwing this. You got to give me something back in return." When
But
he was
you-
in Magic
but you-
City.
you
So
said
we'll
so-
find something to get back in return for Lou. But right now, he just got to
Is
go.
the chicken
But you
wings
said
part of the deal?
No,
Yeah.
but when he said something very important, I see people
All we got to
online
do is
say-
send him to Miami because Miami got Magic
Oh,
City.
yeah, they
so
do.
they're
But
good.
when he said something very important, I see everybody
Atlanta or
online,
Miami,
Paul
right?
George, it's like to the point they can't.
They
Because it would look so bad
Dumb, yeah.
the first year, all that they gave up and tried to mind you, he could opt out his contract next year. So if he could do that, no team gonna really load you up with no players. No team gonna do that, especially if a player can opt out. So like he said, they can't, if they want to, they can't.
So they're pretty much strapped with this roster.
They're stuck. Yeah.
They can't move anything because they don't have a first round pick from so 7 years from now. I think this was a worse trade if they don't win a championship. This was a worse trade than what the Brooklyn Nets did like years back for trading for KG, Jason Terry, and Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
But speaking of Paul George,
Atlanta might pick him up.
I don't know. But
It's
speaking
in
of,
their interest.
listen, I just want to talk about Paul George because he deserves some blame too.
Oh,
But see, you can't blame him as much because he always chokes. He
Yeah,
always chokes in the
I like-
playoffs.
Well, here's the thing.
What do I expect what I expect from him. That's what I expect from George. I didn't expect him to step. I expected my man Kawhi to pick up where he couldn't deliver, but I didn't expect much from Paul George. Paul George is just, look, Kawhi felt good, brought his friend the ball. I'm cool with that. The point is, I didn't expect Paul George to do anything he did, so I don't even care for Paul George. I know Kawhi messed up, but I'm giving it back to Doc Rivers. Game 7, I give to Kawhi. Doc Rivers, the series. It is what it is.